Happy Monday, everybody. We've got a 10-game slate today, which isn't bad for a Monday. Some interesting plays, so I like some upsets today. But let's get into Sunday. Another shit show Sunday in the books. A big offer. Nice. All right, Boston, Baltimore. Everybody was on this play, which is kind of the kiss of death. I think it was probably the most popular play yesterday. Yeah, just didn't happen. Boston had opportunities, just didn't capitalize. Baltimore probably should have scored more than what they did. So we ended up at 6. I think it ended up being 4-2. I think Boston had bases loaded once or twice, scored like one run. So it is what it is. Miami team total over 3.5, and we had the Marlins winning. Well, the Marlins won, and it was 3-2 with a big old 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. Yeah, that was just disappointing. Miami had so many chances. It felt like a lock. They just couldn't come up with a clutch hit. So that one really hurt. Let's see. The Cubbies sold us on our parlay. 1-0. Ended up being 1-0 Toronto. I think the Cubs managed to get 4 hits. Bowden had like his best day ever as a pro. So glad we could facilitate that. I think he had 7 Ks. So, congratulations to him. Let's see. And then obviously we kind of got hosed with the Boston, Washington, Philly. We were on Washington. Washington won, went over the 8. So it is what it is, man. San Diego lost. Yeah, just weird stuff happens in Colorado. And then on our prop leans, we missed by 1. So Blackburn over 4.5 Ks finished with 4. Kirby over 5.5 Ks, finished with 5. Imanaga under 5.5 Ks, finished with 6. So really close there, but Nerfies, we went 2-1. So let's, we are just absolutely crushing August. Kind of a big deal. We're barely up units now after a beautiful July. So August is just beating my ass on the picks. So that's all right. Hopefully we bounce back today. Hot and cold, there's really not a lot to talk about. So we're just going to skip that and kind of jump right into this 10-game slate here. I will tell you, if you follow me on Twitter, we did hit, or X, whatever you want to call it, we did hit our WNBA no sweat parlay. So that was pretty sweet. That was a nice little cash there. I think it was like plus 314, something like that. So nice little one there. And then I'll throw out another one on Twitter later today. So make sure you're following me on there. All right, D-backs Marlins. This is a little bit of an unknown. I put Paul Blackburn in here. Obviously, Paul Blackburn does not pitch for the Marlins, but I can't figure out who's going to pitch. It looks like it's going to be a bullpen day. So I just went with a very average pitcher in here just to get an idea of some statistics. So ignore Paul Blackburn. But I believe it's going to be Brandon Pfaadt for the Diamondbacks. Again, not listed either. But if this is a bullpen day for the Marlins, the D-backs should just go to town. I know on paper the Marlins have a pretty decent ERA, but this is a crap bullpen. D-backs coming off a gut-wrenching loss. They lost 2 extra inning games to Tampa in Tampa Bay. So I think they're going to be a little fired up, man. Just got swept by the Rays. They should be coming in with a little piss and vinegar today. So I like them to put a beat down on the Marlins. That said, I think the Marlins score off of Pfaadt. He is prone to give up some runs. He did face Miami May 9th. And gave up 6 earned runs, but he had a really rough start to the year, and he's kind of righted the ship a little bit. That said, he's given up 14 earned runs in his last 3 games. 2 of those have been absolute blowouts, though. So I think he was just kind of more pitching to get outs. Yeah, I like D-backs here. Can't fade them. All right, next game. Reds at the Blue Jays. No pitcher listed for the Reds. There was somebody named Julian Aguilar listed as a potential pitcher. This guy has kind of been between AA and AAA this year. Fastball slider guy. If we look at the splits, Toronto, okay, like bottom 10 in the fastball, but they do really good with the slider and the curveball. So this guy supposedly has a pretty good fastball. It's about 94, but his curveball and slider are supposed to be pretty decent. So we'll see there. If we look at the Reds, they've played Toronto in 2 series over the last 2 years, so 1 home, 1 away. Reds are 2-4 in those series, but every game was pretty tight. We look at Gausman. He is significantly worse at home. He's got a 5.91 home ERA, so that's a little scary. But we just saw the Reds get smacked around in GABP, so we'll have to see how they do. But I like the Blue Jays are, they're starting to hit, so I like them here to get the job done. Going up against a guy, probably most likely someone's going to be making their major league debut. So we'll have to see. I think it would be cool if Blue Jays called Joey Votto up. I did hear some rumors about him potentially getting called up for this game. That would be kind of a cool moment there. The only thing that scares me is, again, the Reds against righties that primarily throw fastballs. They do tend to hit them. So a little bit of nervousness about Gausman, but I think the Blue Jays get the job done here. All right, next game, Mets at the Orioles. I told you, I like a lot of upsets today. This is one of them. I like the O's. Trevor Rogers has not been good. Like I'm well aware that he has been a bit of an earned run machine. He's got a 3.35 ERA in his career versus the Mets, though, and he's got some good splits. Lindor, Alonso, those guys have really struggled to hit off of him. Obviously, being with the Marlins prior to this, he saw the Mets a lot. So if we look at the Mets, they have not faced a left-handed starter in 11 days. So I do think that matters a little bit. But if we look at the Orioles, they really haven't hit left-handed starters. So that's a little concerning. They've only gotten 3 earned runs over the last 7 days against lefty starters. So they faced DJ Hertz and Jeffrey Springs from Tampa Bay. So if we look at Trevor Rogers, he is averaging 4 earned runs in 3 starts for Baltimore. It has not been great, right? He's given up 20 hits in 14 innings, only had 7 Ks. Now, if we look at Peterson, he's been really good. So I think this line makes sense, right? Peterson has been really, really good. He's got a 3.13 home ERA. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 starts. He faced Oakland, Colorado, and the Angels. So why do I think that they will have some success? I think you could make a case either way. Rogers has struggled against left-handed hitters. There should only be 2 in the Mets lineup today, so he's not going to face a ton of them. He's just kind of been okay against righties. He's not great, but I just think the lefties, basically Baltimore will be batting a lot of righties today, so I think they get to Peterson. The advanced metrics, he's got an expected ERA of 5.29. Regression is coming. It is a matter of time. We backed him last time to have some regression. Didn't happen. We look at the pitch splits. Baltimore, 3rd in the fastball, 1st in the curveball. They hit well against his pitch splits, and we know he's due for some regression. So just kind of banking on that. We didn't see a lot out of the Mets offense really for the past 3 series. We just haven't seen much offense. So really just backing that they're not going to get to Rogers too bad. I think it's inevitable to hit him. I think every team has hit him. So that's kind of where I'm at with this game. But I like the O's. All right, next game, Pirates at the Rangers. Luis Ortiz, man, this guy started out hot, and then all of a sudden he became batting practice. So he has not done well. Pittsburgh's lost the last 4 games that he started. That said, Jose Urena is absolute dog shit, and the Rangers have lost 6 of his last 7. So, 2 really bad teams going up against each other here. If we look at Ortiz, got a 2.80 away ERA. Again, this was driven primarily by some excellent starts earlier in the year. Last 4 starts, he's given up 15 earned runs. Urena's given up 16. So it's kind of weird. We've got an over 8.5 against 2 pitchers that should be shelling out runs. So I do like the over 8.5 here. It's just weird to me that it's not 9 for some reason. If we look at the splits, Urena is weaker against righties. Pittsburgh has 5. We look at Ortiz, he is weaker against righties, but Texas only has 3. So everything kind of points towards the Pirates here, if I'm being honest, but my God, I can't trust them offensively. They're all over the place. And I like the Rangers just simply because they're at home. I felt like they played that Twin series really well. I thought they held pretty good against a very, very good team. So hoping Urena can just do something halfway average against this anemic Pittsburgh offense. All right, next game, Red Sox at the Astros. Tanner Houck, Yusei Kikuchi. Kikuchi has just been outstanding since he was traded from Toronto. He has looked really, really, really good for the Astros. He is absolutely striking people out left and right. I think his K prop today is 7.5, and he's actually highly favored to go over. If we look at Tanner Houck, he has pitched against the Astros 4 times since 2022. Most recently pitched against them like 10 days ago. He did really good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and a K, and it was at Houston. So really the second time Boston has been in Houston in the past 2 weeks. If we look at Kikuchi versus Boston, he does not have a good track record. He has given up between this season and last season 5 earned runs in every outing. So they have been able to absolutely hit the shit out of him. But my only concern, if we look at Boston, versus the last 3 left-handed starters they face, so Cade Povich, Cole Reagan, and Cody Bradford for the Rangers, they've only gotten 6 earned runs. So a little scary, but for the first half of the year, Boston was the best left-handed hitting team in baseball. So I think we should see the offense pick up. We've seen 2 games in a row where Boston really hasn't scored a ton after the football game they played against the Orioles, where they scored like 12. So I think they bounce back today. Little bit of concerns about travel, right? They're going across the country, but it's good value here to take Boston. I know we're kind of fading a team that's 9-1 right now, but this is more of a fade of Kikuchi. We really didn't see the Astros do a whole lot against the White Sox. One game, I think they won 6-1. Other than that, it was really tight. So little nerve-wracking there, and they did lose to the White Sox. So there's that. Got to factor that in. I just like Boston here at plus money. All right, next game, Angels at the Royals. We saw the Braves beat the Angels yesterday, which was beautiful. I had a decent sized bet with I just needed the Braves to win by more than 1, which they got the job done in the 8th, thank God. So that was nice. Angels traveling to KC. KC at home's just a different beast, man. They hit very well at home. We just saw them come off a really good Red Series where they put up a ton of runs away, which I think is a really positive thing for them, something that they've struggled to do this season. So Seth Lugo on the hill, at one point in time was the favorite probably to win the Cy Young, probably him or Skubal in the AL. He struggled a little bit as of late. He's given up 12 earned runs in his last 3 starts, but he did face Minnesota and Boston. Detroit's in there. Detroit, little sneaky bastards. But he is a better pitcher at home. He's got a great track record against the Angels. 3 games against them. He's got a 1.17 ERA. And the Angels just suck. They do score runs when they're at home, but away, not great. So I like the Angels here. Or not, I don't like the Angels. I like the Royals today. Run line, really good value at plus money. I think there is a very good chance that hits. So pitch splits look terrible for Falmer. He just hasn't been great. He's got a 5.10 away ERA. So I like him to just get absolutely trounced. We look over the last 7 days. Worst hitting team in baseball. Hitting 156, 181 over the last 14. And like I said, we just saw the Royals bats really start to heat up, hitting 300 with runners in scoring position. I mean, everything here works in Kansas City's favor, no matter how you shake this out. So love that game. It's my favorite game of the day. All right, Rays at the Athletics. Taj Bradley going up against Joe Boyle. Joe Boyle, not fantastic, but better than what his stats show. He's got a 7.39 ERA, expected ERA of 4.85. So we should start to see some good stats. The issue with Boyle has been left-handed hitters, giving up a 5.56 average. That said, Tampa Bay has 5, so you can definitely make a case for Tampa Bay here. Oakland at home is just a different beast, man. They play really well. They have absolutely crushed right-handed starters over the last 10 days. They got 28 earned runs against those starters. And we look at Taj Bradley, he is struggling lately. So he's got a 4.5 away ERA, giving up 15 earned runs in the last 3 games. So he has been very, very hittable. And the A's do love a good right-handed starter. So I like the A's here at plus money at home. I know Tampa Bay is coming off the sweep of the Diamondbacks, but that was at Tropicana. They don't do as well when they hit the road. So, although that said, they do have a better record technically away, but like I said, the A's are just different when they're at home. All right, Twins Padres. Now this is going to be a really against the grain play here. Zebby Matthews going up against Michael King. Huge pitching advantage to the Padres. But my system, when a team leaves Coors Field, they struggle offensively. Look at the last 10 teams. Had their first game after a Coors game. Terrible offensively. I mean, terrible. Struggled to score a run. We looked at the Mets, their last series there. They went to Seattle and scored 1 run in 3 games. So I understand there's a huge pitching matchup here. Padres are coming off losing 2 out of 3 in Colorado. I just think we get the Colorado hangover that we've seen from every other team. So I'm going Twins here. That's a very simple play there. If we look at Minnesota, they have hit right-handed starters really well this week. Over the last 7 days, 20 earned runs. King is worse at home than he is away. So that said, he's pitched pretty well. His last 6 starts, he's only given up 8 earned runs. I thought Zebby Matthews would get rocked in his debut. He did not. He pitched really well against Kansas City. Went 5 innings, only gave up 5 hits and 2 earned runs. So just more play off the Padres coming off of Coors Field. Give me the Twins here. We'll take a flyer on that and see if it pans out. All right, next game, White Sox at the Giants. Kyle Harrison going up against Jonathan Cannon. I tried every which way to find an angle to take the White Sox in this game, if I'm being honest, but I just simply could not find an angle. The stat that really stood out to me, if we look at the White Sox versus starters and right-handed pitchers that are lefties, they've scored 4 earned runs in the last 36 innings off of left-handed pitching. So I think Kyle Harrison has a pretty decent day given that metric. In terms of like lefties they've faced recently in starters, so they faced Framber Valdez, Nestor Cortez, which every team under the sun has hit Nestor Cortez lately. Spelled his name wrong. There we go. Justin Steele and J.P. Sears. So all those guys were absolutely dominant. They only gave up 1 earned run between the 4 of them to the White Sox. So, yeah, it doesn't look good there. If we look at Harrison, giving up 11 earned runs in the last 3 games, but only 3 earned runs at home. So, hasn't pitched against the White Sox before, so this will be the first time that they've seen him. That said, the reason why I was looking to get to the White Sox, I like Cannon. I think he's a very, very good pitcher. That said, susceptible to the righties, and the Giants will have 6 right-handed hitters in the lineup today. We do have the wind blowing out, but I mean, I don't know if I don't trust the Giants to score runs. We just saw them struggle to win some games and put some runs on the board. So 2 really bad hitting teams over the last 14 and 7 days. Not a good look there, but can't take the White Sox given their struggles against left-handed pitching. But I think Cannon holds them to, 3 runs probably. All right, last game on the card, Mariners at the Dodgers. Really tough one to handicap. Mariners offense is just so spotty. They came out yesterday and just shellacked Pittsburgh, which almost makes me feel like they're due for some regression traveling back to the West Coast. Brian Wu going up against Gavin Stone. Wu has just been outstanding, man. He pitched an absolute gem his last game versus Detroit. And I believe they still managed to lose that game. Yes, they did. I remember it was the bottom of the 8th home run. 2-run home run. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, anyway. All right, so Wu, anyway, 2.52 away ERA, so he is more susceptible away than he is at home. Gavin Stone, 3.68 home ERA. Wu has given up no earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts. We look at Stone averaging about 3 earned runs per start over his last 3. But the Mariners have not beaten the Dodgers since 2020. So 2021 to present, Dodgers are 6-0 against the Mariners. If we look at Stone, he is definitely more susceptible against right-handers, giving up almost a 400 average. That said, Seattle only has 3. Randy Arozarena, I guess, would be the most prominent, and he is struggling. He is hitting below the Mendoza line, so yeah, I just don't fear this Mariners offense. And you don't know what you're going to get either. They could come out and hang 12 or 0. Most likely 0. So To me, I feel like the Dodgers do get to Woo. It's just too strong of a lineup. And if we look at how they hit right-handed pitching as a team, it's just too strong. So give me the Dodgers here and just hope Gavin Stone can do what most teams do against the Mariners, keep them not hitting. All right. Bets today. Royals run line. Probably my favorite play. Plus 102. I really like this a lot. I think the Royals should hit Fulmer all around the yard, and I think Lugo has a bounce back day against the Angels. He is definitely due for a good day. Tampa Bay, Oakland over 7.5. I just feel like Taj Bradley should give up some runs, and if not, let's say that doesn't come to fruition, Tampa Bay should be able to hit Joe Boyle. So there should be runs scored in that game. White Sox, Giants under 8. This definitely, I like the 8 just because we could potentially push. I just don't see the Giants going out and shelling Jonathan Cannon. He's just been very, very good, and we've seen the Giants struggle offensively, most recently even at home versus that series against the Braves where they really struggled to put up some runs. Royals race to 4 at minus 120. Just really good value. I kind of wanted to just hammer the shit out of this, to be honest, but we'll just play it as a 1 unit. And then Red Sox money line, Athletics money line, Twins money line, Orioles money line. If we can hit 2 out of 4, we come out positive. And I think there's a very good chance we hit 2 out of 4 here. All right, parlays, we're doing KC -1, Arizona money line, and then Giants -1. Pair those together, plus 247. Next one would be Toronto, Texas, and then Boston first 5 over 1.5. That's just banking that they get to Kikuchi. I will tell you the Kikuchi earned run line is 1.5, and that's at minus 160. So the books favor him to give up more than 2 runs, and he typically doesn't go more than like 5 1/3, 5 2/3. So it's just more of a play on the statistics there. Fun parlay would be Kansas City Diamondbacks, Giants, and Toronto at plus 403. Upset parlay is a massive one, but I really like it. That would be Baltimore, Boston, Oakland, and Minnesota. If you want to take out Minnesota, you can. It's still like plus 800 with just Baltimore, Boston, and Oakland. Or you could go Boston, Oakland if you just want to do 2. So those are some options there. Nerfies I like. Minnesota, San Diego at minus 145. White Sox and the Giants at minus 125. And then this one was surprising. Seattle and the Dodgers. I fully expected this to be like minus 140. So it's minus 105. So I don't think the books are necessarily expecting the Dodgers to score here. So I think they might think Seattle is going to get some runs here in the first. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Yeah, those are the plays today. You can see the prop leans. Michael King over 4.5 hits. Seth Lugo under 5.5 hits. Kevin Gausman over 5.5 Ks. Reds are very prone to K'ing. I think we all know that. Rogers over 3.5 Ks. He had 5 against the Mets earlier this year. Michael King over 1.5 earned runs. Same with Kikuchi. Brent Rooker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus money. Just too good a value to pass up there. And then Devers over a total base. So we just need him to get a hit. That's at minus 174. It's got an okay track record against Kikuchi. Can't see him being held hitless in that game. So those are the bets for today. If you haven't yet, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter or X for some plays there today. And I will catch you guys on the next stream.